Let's take a look at this top 30 visits that the Vikings have had. All right, welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus Show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, only a week away from the freaking draft. Vikings top 30 visits. They've been very, very busy. Very busy. We're gonna look at all of them.
We are. Before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids, and yeah, Onebar said a week from the draft, and also means a week from our tailgate party, 4:30. Getting started with lots of giveaways, lots of beers, lots of Minnesota Vikings draft talk.
Cannot wait. I cannot wait. But so I separated these: offense, defense. If you want to go take a better look at the list, WalterFootball.com does a fabulous job of listing them out. Not only just top 30s, but who they met at the combine, all that stuff. So that's where this list is from.
Let's just reiterate the importance of this. These top 30 visits. A lot of times, the guys end up drafting, whether it's in the draft, after the draft, whoever they bring in, do end up on the team. A couple from last year. Kalen Barnes wasn't drafted by the Vikings, but he's a member of the team now. He was in for a top 30 visit last year, and fifth-round pick Asezi Atumwea was another one who was also in last year. So this list does point to some guys who are definitely looking at and thinking toward making new Vikings.
Yeah, but they can also be sneaky. We did not meet with Lewis Seen last year. I mean, there's a lot of guys we didn't even have a sniff around, and all of a sudden, snap them up. We're going to shut up. Let's go to offense. Let's go to offense. We're not going to go over every single one of these, but obviously some things stick out.
Well, yeah, and I think, you got to look at the first-round options. Number one, you got 3 first-round potential wide receivers there: Jordan Anderson, Quentin Johnson, and Jackson Smith, and Jigba. You're looking at pick 23. I mean, you want any kind of hint of what they're going to do. Those are 3 names there that definitely are in play in round 1.
Yeah, and defense has a handful of round 1s too, but some things that stick out here is, no Hendon Hooker. Quarterback-wise, only Tanner McPhee, which neither of us would enjoy. But one guy that stands out, Anthony Bradford. It's listed as a tackle, but he's going to be a guard. He's not like this late-round guy. I mean, the fact that we're even looking at him, I mean, he'd have to be what, like a 4th-round pick?
Yeah, and so you look at the other ones too. You got John Michael Schmitz, the center, too, another interior offensive lineman, another guard there with Nash Jensen, and I'm kind of surprised too the amount of running backs they're looking at. Dwayne McBride, we did a top 30 video on him, Evan Hall, and then obviously Mo Ibrahim as well. So we did a video on him too, but the fact they're still considering running backs after what they have on the roster. I know Delvin Cook's future is up in the air, but we still got 2 other backs on the roster in Chandler and in Ngwangu. So maybe this is one regime that just can never have enough backs.
Maybe not. And the offensive tackles, I mean, a lot of those guys are late round guys. But aside from the top heavy, the Addison Johnson and Jigba, who's a guy that kind of tickles your fancy here?
I like Trey Palmer out of Nebraska. He's an interesting wide receiver, a guy, that mid-round kind of a guy. If you don't get one early, you land Trey Palmer in round 4, maybe even round 5. I think that's a damn good value right there.
Yeah, I guess I'll agree with you. I think a lot of these other guys are just pretty much late round, and it's good. They're doing their due diligence. Undrafted free agents, wham bam, they snap them up, and also teams bring players in just to pick their brains on other people. They could be sneaky on that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, let's go to defense. A lot more defenders. Kapow!
Oh my goodness. These
edge rushers: Will McDonald, Keon White. A lot of edge rushers here, guys that will be going in round 1. I mean, Keon White sounds like he's just solidified himself as a round 1 guy.
He was invited to the draft, and so they're expecting him to go in round 1 at some point. Another guy like Byron Young, a little undersized, but very, very explosive. Again, a 3-4 defense, never have enough edge rushers. Isaiah Land's on here too. So you got kind of guys a little top heavy, but definitely some names scattered throughout the entire draft too.
Yeah, Deontay Banks, definitely probably the highest ranked corner. A lot of guys in the secondary. I think there's 5 of them. A lot of defensive linemen, along with some edge rushers. Guys that we're not seeing are those top tier linebackers. No Drew Sanders, no Trenton Simpsons. So that's again kind of like offense.
It's interesting too. I mean, you don't see Kalijah Cansey in here. You don't see Brian Brissy either. One guy, a late round pick, probably even undrafted, Marte Mapu from Sacramento State. Very interesting player because he's listed as a linebacker, but he can play safety. He can come up on the line. Very versatile guy, and a guy I've heard getting a lot of late round buzz. A lot of teams are interested in him, and he's visited with a lot of teams. So Marte Mapu is a name to watch on day 3.
Starling Thomas as well. They met with him at a couple times now, not just a top 30 visit, but they met with him a few times. Dude is flying up the draft charts. No pun intended, because he is fast as shit. I would love me some Starling Thomas. Jordan Howden, again, another player that they've met with a few times. Safety. Let's see.
And I do like that this new regime is looking at gophers. I mean, it seemed like Rick Spielman, ever since the Nate Triplett bomb, he just did not want anything to do with any Minnesota Gophers.
Well, I don't blame him one bit.
There's been some good players that come around since then, but it seems like he just turned a blind eye to him. I love that this new regime is picking, prospects with their backyard.
Yeah. So let me just look. Yeah, Isaiah Land, I love him. He had like 19 sacks a year or so ago, just an all pass rushing beast. But a nice assortment here. A nice assortment.
Yeah, there is. Carl Brooks is interesting. He can play inside or out. Really dominated at Bowling Green, so he definitely tickles my fancy as a mid-round option. We talked to him, I think, was it in the live last night or our show yesterday, but Will McDonald too. I love the way he plays, and he's so damn aggressive, so damn violent, and he's got some damn good pass rushing moves. So, Will McDonald, you trade down, you're sitting there at 31, maybe they take their favorite edge player.
Edge rusher could be a mildly shocking position they take in round one, but BPA, it very well could happen. Let us know, guys, from this list. Anybody get you overly excited? Somebody you wish was not on this list?
And speaking of being overly excited, if you ever find yourself with an ill-timed erection, you can get rid of it by flexing your leg muscles as hard as you can.